Hey guys, welcome back to another AQ3D video. I am Gold Raven. This one's going to be covering the newest update that brought us some changes, as well as a new bonus thing that we can do in the Wastelands. Let's get started. If you guys enjoy this video, do me a favor and tap that like button, smash the subscribe, and turn the notifications so you don't miss any of my uploads. Usually takes me a long time to edit this type of video, which is why I usually don't get to actually play the game nearly as much as I make content on it. I'd also like to thank all my YouTube members because you guys help me keep doing what I love to do. We're going to talk to Skew here in the desert, and now we have this quest right here, but what you might not have known is there is now a preview window so you can actually see what it looks like. Impossible preview token of Nogath because you can't actually get it. This is just to show you what this thing looks like. So if you don't have it, like me for instance, you are able to see the stats of the item as well as the requirements. Of course you can see the requirements anyway, and then of course what it looks like. This is gorgeous. I'm still quite a ways away from it as I haven't really had time to do a whole lot, but there has been some changes done to this thing here, and I will be going over those, but not quite yet. First we are going to go and check out the Red Monastery, because in here we have a new NPC, Victor's Supplier. He's got some paladin supplies in here. This is just extra little stuff that will help. Back in the Wasteland, talk to Bamboozle, and you can be finding the Corpse Eater Pet. This is the cutest consumer of dead flesh out there. You need 3,000 decaying morsel, and this is what the pet looks. Look at the details on the little, like the red stuff there. That's interesting. The Pronged Rune is a new weapon you can get from the Bull Fiend in the Wasteland. If you get that weapon, then Bamboozle will have a quest appear that will help you upgrade that weapon. I haven't had time to farm that weapon yet, so I don't have the quest. Oh, I also want to mention the items here, the Decaying Morsel. You can find this in the Catacombs. I'm not sure what mob drops it, maybe all of them. I'd like to mention something about the collection. If you had purchased this thing without buying the entire collection, just this Craig in a cart, it has now been removed. You no longer can obtain this individually by itself because there was a lot of technical problems behind that. Now, the reason why the quests work with it through the collection is because of what's implemented into the collection pet, which is separate from the pet if you just purchased it for the dragon crystals. So if you did buy just this thing, it has been removed from your inventory, but your dragon crystals has been returned to you. Now, there were some changes done to the Phoenix Blade quest. So you would have noticed that the Diamond of Nogath contract exchange has vanished. And it still shows as being available, and then when you click on it, it literally disappears because it is no longer available. It might only do that through the pet quests, maybe not on the NPC. But anyways, all the other ones. So there has been tweaks that have been adjusted to the different things, and I will be going over what's been changed in the quests as well as what's been changed in the Catacombs. But before I get to that, I did want to mention that the Master Vault has been unscaled, as I had mentioned in a previous video, but there were some other things that were supposed to be unscaled. They have now been unscaled. This includes the vaults here are now unscaled, and the Deep Vault as well, which is another thing. So those have all been unscaled, so yes. So let's take a look at what changed this week. Brutix has been adjusted so you can now solo this with any defensive class. The outcry from the community on how difficult Mandible is has been heard, and changes have been made. Mandible no longer makes critical hits, and a lot of other changes has occurred to make him much more beatable. He can now be soloed with any class, although armor breaking classes are preferable. Fiend Ramsey has also been adjusted and is now soloable with any interrupting class. So a class like Dragon Slayer would be perfect. Monsters in general has been balanced. The Imp's rapid bite damage has been drastically reduced. The Violent Imp's rapid bite damage has been drastically reduced. The Spitzer's Arcanic, I'm not sure how you say that, roll damage has been drastically has been reduced. I never actually fought him, or I don't remember if I did. I don't remember it. Scorptankian, okay, so this guy had a lot of armor, and this has been sufficiently reduced. That's very nice. His attack has also been reduced. He was a hard hitter, very, very difficult, so I'm assuming now maybe he's more soloable. Then you've got the Fiend Dragon. Now his drops has been increased, which is good because he takes forever to kill. Then you've got the Fiend Dragon now counts with 2 new extra AoE attacks that he will rarely use. Ooh, interesting. In the Crypts of Misery, all monsters except for bugs have had their levels reduced. So this is going to make them much easier because if their levels are reduced, their stats are reduced. Again, this is all scaled. All mobs in the Chamber of Suffering have had their levels reduced, which again affects their stats. And now getting into the Nogath farming balance changes, and I would say that these changes would be for the better in the long run. The contract taking away thing, the contract diamond thing that was taken away sucks, but at the same time it is understandable because when it was in place you could literally do everything just using that method, so it was removed because of that. So let's see what other changes. So all of the Nogath farming quests have had their gold and experience rewards increased. So this is a good thing. The Keymaster was giving the Uni 13, so this has been removed. The Undead Caster, Ghoul, and Imps were fixed to no longer give the Uni 13 voucher. This is part of the contract one from Gaz, so they no longer give it. Brutix now correctly gives the Uni 13 quest item for all contracts, so you could be fighting him if you're trying to get the Uni 13. The drop rate for the Uni 13 with the voucher has been decreased. However, after testing, it had been decreased, but now it's been increased. So I don't know if you guys had known it had been decreased, but we had noticed that it was blatantly obvious because I had gotten it several times within a fairly decent amount of time, and then all of a sudden, like in an hour, I got one. It was horrible. So they have increased that. The Diamond of Nogath Crag's Thirst now only requires 50 bags of dirt instead of 100. Now, some of you guys wouldn't have even known it required 100 because this was done several days ago when they adjusted that, but now they're posting all this to let us know what changes did occur over the last few days as well as today. The Diamond of Nogath Unified Essence drop rate has been increased sufficiently. So this is good because Noxus, it took forever. You could be there for 300 kills and get like 1 or 2. So now they've made it a lot easier, which is good. The Diamond of Nogath Dark Deal quest intentionally did not require a contract of Nogath. That requirement has been reinstated. Removed mini bosses from the Uni 13 voucher quests. In addition, the drop rate for the quest had been reduced. However, it was accidentally reduced by too much, so it had been slightly increased. And that was what I was talking about. It was very hard to get it from the thing, and I was doing the voucher, and it sucked. Anyways, this is where they mentioned that the Diamond of Nogath and the Contract Exchange quest had been retired due to the quest being too powerful and profitable, because basically, like I said, you could do everything. The Phoenix Blade was moved from Akraloth Group Challenge into the Akraloth Extreme. If you didn't know, before the Nogath update, the Phoenix Blade used to drop from the group challenge. Now it drops from the Akraloth challenge. Now everything that drops in those challenges are now displayed, so you'll be able to see what drops from what challenge. And this was adjusted previously, but I think they tweaked it now. The Dark Crystal Shard now only stacks up to the maximum of 100. A new Nogath reward preview shop has been added. That's the one I showed you guys. The Bag of Dirt has been increased. The gold and experience rewards has been increased. The essence of basically everything, all of the quests, they already said that they've been increased, and these have been increased even more. The Tainted Gems and Essence of Nogath now gives 15 Tainted Gems as rewards instead of 10. That's nice. And the Dark Crystal Shards, a Tainted Deal, now gives 150 Tainted instead of 100. Wow. Oh, I see. Now, it requires 150 instead of 100 to get 10, which is fine because those are easy. I think I have like 500 Tainted Gem. And then the Dark Crystal Shards Fiend Hunting drop rate has been lowered, which I guess it was too high maybe. And the Dark Crystal Shards Fiend Hunting Gold and rewards has been increased. Again, this is over top of what they already said. Everything's been increased. These have been increased even more. And then the Essence of Nogath things has also been increased. The Fiend Zards has been increased. The Essence of Nogath Catacombs Crawler things has been increased. However, the Contract of Nogath and Diamond of Nogath gold values have been adjusted because they were slightly too profitable. So the Contract of Nogath, which you could get 100,000 for it, is now 50,000 gold. And then the Diamond of Nogath, which was 50,000, is now 100,000. So they've been swapped, basically. So there's been a lot of changes, but they all sound like they've been changed for the better. So I'm glad the devs are listening to the player feedback when it comes to the Nogath stuff and whatnot. And it's not like they were trying to punish us by removing the Contracts Nogath thing, the diamond thing, or, you know, reducing the drops too low. Like, this is obviously mistakes were made. Balancing has to come into play as well. They need to adjust certain things. So they are doing a lot of work to try to make it as balanced and enjoyable as possible. So minus some technical issues here and there, this Nogath update, like the newest saga that came out with the Phoenix Blade and all that, has been a really good update, and I really enjoy everything that they're putting into it. The amount of work involved really shows. I'm also glad that they're giving us the transparency by showing us what has been changed. By the time I finish editing this video, you guys will probably already have the weapon that I mentioned earlier, but I hope any information I was able to provide in this video helps you guys out. So that wraps up the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and keep those swords swinging.